And you also have something interesting in your work in terms of the value, not just the values that accrue to dyslexia, but the values that accrue to society because of dyslexic people. Mm-hmm. When you talk about your notions of the evolution of our species and why there seems to be a place among humans for dyslexia, that's very interesting.
We have done a lot of studies in regards to mini columns and connectivity among different species, and we can draw conclusions in regards to evolution. And what we're suggesting is that this whole distribution in terms of connectivity has been preserved along with the tail ends and where dyslexic individuals actually fall, because they are of some use to society as a whole. And I think that Brock can actually add a statement made by Norman Geschwin many years ago in this regards, because
you know that what he's talking about?
Yeah, Norman Geschwin was a neurologist who worked on dyslexia about 30 years ago, and he made the general observation, which is true in medicine, that when an apparently disadvantageous trait is preserved in the population at a large prevalence, there is almost always some countervailing advantage to it that hasn't been recognized. And an example that he used was sickle cell trait, which many people know gives protection against malaria. So in its extreme form, sickle cell disease causes the disease condition that we know as sickling. But the gene is preserved in the population because of the advantage it gives in preventing malaria in a very large percentage of the population. And Geschwin speculated that the reason that so many people are dyslexic is that there is some functional advantage to having a brain that operates that way. And it's, one of the things that really was remarkable to us when we started working in this field is that it had rarely ever been asked, not what was wrong with the dyslexic brain, but what was the dyslexic brain for? It's a simple shift in perspective, but once you look at this brain from that different perspective, it appears in a whole different light and makes so much sense of the fact that we could have a conference this weekend filled with dyslexic individuals who were CEOs and entrepreneurs and artists and professors and scientists and the most interesting people you could imagine. We had Academy Award winners and Pulitzer Prize winners and MacArthur Genius Fellows. Many of them didn't finish school. All of them struggled.
How can you get dyslexia? It sounds really good. No, it's just wonderful. I mean, that you're identifying the value of this and not denying people the chance to grow into their most powerful strengths, yes, because you focus them only on what you don't think that they're doing well enough.
Yeah.
And it would be good if everybody could read equally well, but it would be also awfully good if we didn't lose the innovative and creative people that we might lose if we insist first that they have to be able to read the way we want them to before we'll let them grow into innovators.
Absolutely. Well, David Kelly, the head of the design school at Stanford and the co-founder, the man who invented the mouse that was used in the first Apple computer that used a mouse, the Macintosh, told us recently that he has many students that come to him that on the basis of their portfolio he would love to admit to the graduate student because they'd be the most creative people. And he can't do it because their scores on the entry-level tests are not high enough to pass through admissions. The irony of this is that David Kelly is himself dyslexic, and when we brought him a courtesy copy of our book, and he said, I've read fewer than 5 of these things in my whole life, but I really like the title. That appeals to me. So.
And so